Welcome to Good Spirit Graphics. Today we're going to introduce you to MochaBlend, a new add-on for the VFX software Blender. MochaBlend allows you to import all of your tracking data from the software program Mocha into Blender. You'll be able to do more with Mocha data inside Blender than with any other single application. We're going to learn about MochaBlend's panel in a series of tutorials. First, we're going to cover MochaBlend's output window and getting data into MochaBlend. Then we are going to cover working with Mocha data in Blender's 3D view. After that, we will cover working in Blender's movie clip editor. And finally, we're going to work with Mocha data in Blender's compositor. Now, MochaBlend is context sensitive, so depending on what mode it's in, it will show you what you can and can't do. At startup, it will show no data loaded, but even with no data loaded, MochaBlend will let you do some things which are quite useful in Blender. The first thing you can do is load and clear data in and out of MochaBlend. In the 3D view, you can create a 2D camera at different scale factors. This is similar to a default camera in After Effects. In the movie clip editor, you can create an average tracker from existing trackers. And in the compositor, you can create output node layouts for working in the 3D view and also working in the movie clip editor. Now let's bring some data into MochaBlend and see what it looks like. Despite its name, MochaBlend wasn't designed just to import data from Mocha. It was also designed to import data from other applications. In After Effects, you can use the MochaBlend exporter to export masks and shapes from After Effects to Blender. Now, because After Effects can load files from Illustrator and also from Photoshop, you can export your paths from both of those applications with the MochaBlend exporter into Blender. We'll take a look at that later. Let's get started first with Mocha. Now I've set up a little test scene here, which is a triangle that moves up and down. I've already tracked it in Mocha. You see here, if we click on our surface, you see it's going to move nicely with our triangle. Now when we're working in Mocha, there's a few things that you should do to make your exports a little more understandable to you. One is the start frame. If you take a look at our clip, make sure you set your frame offset to 1. Now we're using Mocha Pro here, but Mocha for After Effects does something similar. It's just the layout's a little different. If you set it to 1, then your frame numbers are going to match up with what you're going to see in Blender. When you render out of Blender, you should always render from frame 1. It was designed that way. And even though you can move it to frame 0, it's generally advised not to do that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what data looks like when it's brought in to MochaBlend. We're going to start with tracking data, After Effects transform data, that's the one we want. We can either copy it to the clipboard and paste it into MochaBlend or save it to a file and load it from a file. We're going to go the easy way for now, just copy it to clipboard. Now let's switch over to Blender. And in MochaBlend, we get a couple of options: load data from file or paste data. Well, we're going to go ahead and paste data. And you'll see after a second, it pops up with a little transform symbol here. Mocha transform data loaded, frame range 1, 2, well, that doesn't look right. Let's drag this out a little bit. There we go. Frame range 1 to 10 and 10 frames of data. It gives you the format of the clip used in Mocha, 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second, with a pixel aspect ratio of 1. Now let's go back to Mocha and let's move some corner pin data. Corner pin data is designated by this blue surface outline here. These will be the 4 points that would be pasted in. Let's go back to export tracking data. This time we're going to select corner pin only, After Effects format, copy to clipboard, back to Blender. Let's go ahead and paste this data in. And you'll see we get a corner pin symbol here. Mocha corner pin data loaded, frame range 1 to 10, 10 frames total, same format. Now frequently you don't want to export the entire frame range of your data. Back in Mocha, you'll see that we have a locked layer here. If we unlock it, we can make some changes to either the project length here, or we can also set the layer in-out points here. Let's see, in one, out one. We don't want that. Let's go ahead and set the layer in point. Let's see, out point to here. In one, out 6. Let's go ahead and output this data. Corner pin again is fine. Go back to Blender. Paste that in. There you go. Now we have a frame range of 1 to 6, showing 6 frames. So you don't have to output the whole range. MochaBlend will import your layer and project settings also. Now let's go back to Mocha and take a look at what else we can export here. Okay, well, there is a shape here. So even though it's not really rotoscoping, it's the search area we used, but we can export that just as well as a rotoscope. So let's go ahead and click on Export Shape Data. We're going to select Nuke Roto Paint, copy to clipboard, and paste that into MochaBlend. Here we get a shape symbol, Mocha shape data loaded, frame range 1 to 10, 10 frames, and our format again. Okay, the final kind of data we can export from Mocha is camera solve data. We're going to export with After Effects 3D motion data, copy to clipboard, go back to Blender. Now let's paste it into Blender and see what we get. All right, we got a camera icon, Mocha camera solve data loaded, frame range 1 to 30. Let's drag this out a little bit more. 30 frames, and our format again. Now let's take a look if we export a different format out of Mocha. This is the same animation, but this one has field data in it, as you can see a little bit by the jagged edges here. Let's go ahead and export something out of here. Let's say, let's just do tracking data. There you go. Well, let's do transform data there. Yep. Copy to clipboard and paste this in. Now you'll see what we got here is pretty much what we had before, but now we see it has field data. Now, 3D programs like Blender don't typically use field data because they render out frames. That doesn't mean MochaBlend can't convert the data, export it out of Mocha, and use it here. You can export field data out of all the different formats that we've done from Mocha. MochaBlend will reprocess the field data exported from Mocha and convert it to something that it can use to apply to objects and masks inside Blender. Now you should have noticed that we got a warning message here that says Mocha render mismatch. What that means is the format that we've imported in the data does not match Blender's current settings. Now I designed MochaBlend to be used by people who have never touched Blender before. A lot of Mocha users are used to using Mocha data in other applications, and fixing things like this may be a little intimidating for new users, but all we have to do is either press Import Mocha Format or Convert Mocha Format to solve the problem. If we press Convert Mocha Format, you'll get an update that says Converting Mocha Data. That means that the data that was exported out of Mocha in this format will be reprocessed and usable with Blender's different format settings. If we press Import Mocha Format, we're going to bring this format into Blender, so what we export out of Blender will match what we tracked in Mocha. Now, what does this actually change in Blender? Let's go over to our other screen layout, default, and take a look at this little camera icon. Here is our output settings under render. You can see we're set for 1920 by 1080. Well, that's why things didn't match with a square pixel PAR here. So let's go ahead and switch back to our movie clip editor layout. And we're going to put that panel here so we can watch it change. If you're not used to Blender's window system here, you can customize it more than any other program. Just by dragging on this little triangle area here, we can split our window. Now we've duplicated what we have here. Let's go ahead and select the properties window. And this is what we were looking at. It's a little bigger than we need. Close this down. Also shut this tab down so we don't get confused. That's part of the movie clip editor. And here are our settings: 1920 by 1080 with our pixel aspect and our frame rate. So let's go ahead and select import Mocha format and see what happens. There we go. First our warning disappeared, and if you look over here, you'll see we have now set everything to 720 by 480. We have set the pixel aspect ratio, and our frame rate has been updated also. Now there's one other thing in our information box here. It says no MochaBlend camera. Now this is letting you know that if you're working in the 3D view, you have not created a MochaBlend camera, which you can do down here. We'll cover that in the next tutorial. And the other couple of things you can get in your display window here have to do with the files that you're trying to import. Back in Mocha here, let's go ahead and export in a format we know MochaBlend won't use. Let's just pick anything down here, copy to clipboard, and try to paste this into MochaBlend. All right, as expected, it tells us we have an incorrect file type and it won't do anything. Now the other message you can get has to do with the quality of the data. So let's go ahead and clear this out and load some bad data in, see what we get. Now Mocha won't export bad data, but you might have saved it to a file and had it corrupted somehow. So I went ahead and created some bad data. Let's go ahead and try to paste that in. MochaBlend will try to load it and then report bad data format. Next up in the 3D view, we'll be covering a lot more that you can do with Mocha data. Until then, this is Good Spirit Graphics.